Ever since the day that you went away, you went away, you.
Definition of deflation is the reduction prices of goods, and deflation, in other words, is not a good thing. Rather, deflation is an indication that economic conditions are deteriorating. Deflation is usually associated with significant unemployment, which is only corrected after wages drop considerably. Furthermore, business profits drop significantly during periods of deflation, making it more difficult to raise additional capital to expand and develop new technologies. Next, we move on to causes of deflation. One of the major causes of deflationary is fall in aggregate demand. The fall in aggregate demand triggers a decline in the prices of goods and services. Some factors leading to a decline in aggregate demand are fall in the money supply. For example, a central bank may use a tighter monetary policy by increasing interest rates. Thus, people, instead of using and spending their money immediately, prefer to save more of it. In addition, increasing interest rate lead to higher borrowing costs, which also discourages spending in the economy.
What is coronavirus? Nowadays, our country has been infected with coronavirus, or also known as COVID-19. The source of COVID-19 came from a wet market in Wuhan, China, or also known as Huanan Seafood Wholesale Market, had been spread across the globe. In National Geographic website stated that people over there were enjoying eating exotic animals such as bat, beaver, porcupine, baby crocodile, and many more. The worst part is they were eating the animal widely over there. From day to day since the COVID-19 epidemic started, the total number of new cases in our country was increasing. Malaysia's COVID-19 positive case may peak in mid-April 2020 with over 6,000 people infected. By 25 May 2020, the total number of new cases in our country was 7,417 cases with 115 deaths. It clearly shows that this epidemic is growing higher and unstoppable. The Malaysian government had already taken a proactive action to prevent it from spread by imposing MCO Movement Control Order from 18 March to 31st March 2020. However, MCO period was later extended to 14 April 2020 until now. The economic crisis involves all countries in this world, and the recovery process is expected to take a long of time. If the new positive cases are reported, the economic ecosystem will continue to be disrupted. According to the statistics, almost 47% of self-employed had lost their job. And for those who still has their job, which is 35.5%, their income has decreased about 19%. This result gives a big impact and pressure to the government and Bank Negara to revive the economy, whether giving compensation to the affected worker or by convincing the employer to keep their employee until this pandemic is fully recovered.
The main effect from economic fallout due to COVID-19 is unemployment. So, how the government measured to control unemployment? One of the control is monetary policy by making loan easy to encourage borrowing. The pressure exerted by Bank Negara Malaysia on the commercial banks to encourage them borrowing so as to increase their lending to public. So, demand and money supply will increase together, and employment also will increase. From the issue that arises, it also affects the circular flow of income for our country. First, household cannot provide factor of production. It is because household can't be labor. Statistics state that 2 million of people lost their work through this pandemic. Second, because of movement control order, all the firms can't provide goods and services, and there is no production that allowed. So, the firms can't generate profit while the household can't receive their wages. Third, no expenditure will be made. They only consume necessary products only, for example like food. So, there will be no leakage. For financial institution can't make investment because there is no saving that consumer made. So, no injection will be happen. Fifth, consumer can't pay taxes and there is no leakage. So, how the government overcome these issues? 6. Government give injection in the circle of wealth by provide subsidies to people. For example, government provide prihatin economic stimulus (PKSRM) 250 million to the citizen. According to News Straits Times, Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said that the stimulus package prihatin will contribute an estimated 2.8% to GDP this year. So it means that the amount of product in the country will increase and the citizen income also will be increased. Hence, they will spending more.
Now, we're going to discuss about the unemployment in Malaysia due to COVID-19. In the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic this year, Malaysia's unemployment rate is expected to shoot up to 4% this year from 3.3% in 2019. Malaysia's unemployment rate may rise if gross domestic product (GDP) growth falls between 0.8 and 1.2%. Economist Professor Dr. Yeh Kim Lang said that the hit to the country's GDP in the face of the COVID-19 outbreak was equivalent to an estimated 120,000 to 180,000 job losses. Most companies said they were unable to pay beyond 2 months' worth of wages to their employees during the Malaysia's movement control order. Malaysia's 2020 budget deficit will rise to 4.7% after it announced an additional stimulus of 10 billion ringgit to counter the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy. The government has put a lot of efforts to overcome these problems. One of the efforts is deferment of income tax and loan repayments. The government has allowed some 750,000 SMEs to postpone the payment of income tax for 3 months beginning April 1st, 2020. In the previous stimulus package, the businesses in the tourism sector was allowed to postpone income tax payments for 6 months also beginning from April 1st, 2020. It also aims to support businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprise SMEs, assist low and middle-income households, and provide physical injections to strengthen the national economy. Through the measures implemented by the government, we want to avoid a permanent impact on businesses and workers. This way, once COVID-19 is controlled, business activity can be resumed. The faster we counter the outbreak, the faster we can help businesses to resume operations and rehire workers. This will help the labour market to recover faster.
For the conclusion, we can conclude that deflationary gap occurs in a situation where the national income equilibrium, also known as YE, is below than the full employment level, also known as YFE. In our situation, which is in Malaysia, deflationary gap occurs because our national income is not at the full employment level. In other words, when our resources are not fully utilized, it will arise the unemployment problem in Malaysia. There are two ways to eliminate unemployment. First, it is expansionary fiscal policy, where government will increase the aggregate demand by increasing government expenditure and decreasing taxes. Second, it is expansionary monetary policy, where government will increase the money supply by decreasing discount rate, interest rate, required reserve ratio, and many more. Thus, Malaysia's government is working hard by using this method in order to eliminate unemployment and deflationary gap that occurs in Malaysia.